Hey everybody, today on Disc Rewind, we're going to talk about some of the new vinyl that showed up in my mailbox this last week. George Harrison, the Canals, Steve Kilbey, a whole bunch more. Stick around.
Running 'cause I don't know where to go.
Hey, thanks again for joining me for Disc Rewind. This is the Couch Rewind session. This is where I sit on my couch, we play some tunes, we talk about music, and today I'm going to talk about some of the music that showed up in my mailbox this last week. Remember, Disc Rewind, it's not just music, it's about the experience. So thanks for being here. By the way, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to it, hit the bell notification. You guys all know the drill. Today, over here, we're listening to The House of Love, She Paints Words in Red. And if you don't know much about The House of Love, get into it. They were an awesome band in the 80s and they're still around. They make great music. I can't play the actual music here just because of all the copyright stuff. So we're gonna play it in the background and you can just imagine. But we are gonna talk about lots of great records that came in my mailbox this last week. So the first one I'm gonna share with everybody is one of my favorite artists, and that's George Harrison. Now, I'm a huge Beatles fan. I love all kinds of music. The Beatles, I love the Beatles. And if you have not listened to George Harrison, All Things Must Pass, you're really missing out. Now, you've heard some of these songs. Even if you don't realize it, you've heard some of these songs. This is a set that came, and I believe this is, okay, so inside the cover, I believe this is 3 discs, three records. 6 sides, and you've definitely heard some of these songs. And some of these are there's a few live versions. There's some of his most famous songs. I love that Ringo Starr plays the drums on a lot of these songs. You'll hear, like I said, a lot of the favorite stuff. So this came out in, I believe it was right around 1970. You guys can correct me. But it was his very first solo album. And to come out with a 3-record solo album, 6 sides, is pretty amazing. This is one to get. And you can pick these up on the used market for a pretty affordable deal. I think I got this one for like 25 bucks or something like that. So, or less. This one was really good. I buy a lot of my music on Discogs, I buy a lot of it on eBay, and I also support my local record shops and I buy music there. I buy too much music, it's an addiction. Is it an addiction for you guys? So that's George Harrison, All Things Must Pass, an oldie but goodie, worth having for your collection. Alright, this next one is Echo and the Bunnymen, Songs to Learn and Sing. Now this is a compilation some of the best songs by Echo and the Bunnymen at the time. These are a lot of the singles, the songs that you have heard. Now, if you don't think you know Echo and the Bunnymen, you actually do. If you've heard some of their most famous songs are "Bring on the Dancing Horses," "Pretty in Pink." You've seen that show. It was on that. Many of these songs you probably heard, even if you're not an Echo and the Bunnymen fan. This is it. Like if I were to say, what if you didn't have any Echo and the Bunnymen records, music in your collection, which should you get? This is what you should get right here. Songs to Learn and Sing. And again, I believe I bought this one off of Discogs. You know, here's an interesting thing. There's a lot of great music. There's a lot of great vinyl, a lot of great albums on eBay. But whenever you're going to eBay, sometimes you can find some really, really good deals, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes if you just head over to Discogs, you can find what you want, but just be really careful about Discogs and make sure that you know what country you're ordering from, because people order they get stuff from all over the world. So the other day I accidentally ordered something from Belgium, I think it was, and it was fine. I just had to pay a lot more shipping. And then you do run the risk of vinyl being damaged in the mail. So Echo and the Bunnymen, Songs to Learn and Sing. Let me know if you like this record. Okay, now this one is a little different. Many of you probably haven't heard of this album unless you are a Church fan or a Steve Kilbey fan. This is Steve Kilbey Remindlessness. And this is one of, Steve Kilbey is the lead singer of The Church, a band that's still in existence. My favorite band. You'll hear me talk about them a lot. But this is one of his solo albums, probably one of the best ones. This is a 2-disc collection, Remindlessness. I just opened it up. I haven't even played it yet. I'm excited to play it. I've met Steve a couple times. Amazing guy, fun guy to hang out with. Great music. If you're not into The Church, if you're not into some of Steve's solo stuff, they're different. Steve's solo stuff is very different than The Church, and I love it. If you like acoustic music, if you like good guitars, you're gonna love Steve Kilbey. So Steve Kilbey, Remindlessness. Again, I believe this was out of print. I bought this one on Discogs, I believe, as well. All right, now this next record, this next vinyl, brings back a lot of memories for me, because when I first got into what I consider modern music, alternative music, I remember I was in 8th grade, and I was into, I grew up in Utah, and I was into Van Halen, I was into, Journey, I was into Foreigner, I was into all those bands, and I still love them. But there was a friend, and I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Chamberlain. He started introducing me to some bands that his brother was listening to, and he told me about this one band called B-Movie, and I was like, B-Movie? What is that? And I think he gave me a copy of a tape that he had recorded off of his brother's record, and it was this one right here, B-Movie, Forever Running. And this is a promotional copy that I just picked up. There's a ton of these out there. You can get them for really cheap. But this one, for me, brings back a lot of memories. B-Movie didn't last very long. I think they had a few things. They may have done something later in the future. Later, you can search them online. But for years and years, I couldn't even find anything mentioning this band. And then, as I got back into vinyl even years ago, I found that it existed out there. So I had to get another copy of this, because the one copy I had was pretty bad shape. So B-Movie, if you've never listened to B-Movie and you like 80s alternative music, highly recommend that you check out B-Movie. What do we got next? Okay, the Canals. Let's see if I can keep the plastic on this one. Yeah. So another great 80s band, and they're actually still around. The Canals have some great music. Scotty's Lament. If you've never been into the Canals, this is the album that I would start out with. Scotty's Lament, Choose a Side, Try, Just Like Us, If It Crumbles, Pawns, Over There. This is a great album, and there's a lot of these copies around there. You can get this one for pretty cheap. You should be able to find this one for under $10. Sorry, this is Boylan Heights is the name of this album. I believe this one came out in 1987. I think I was a sophomore, and so a lot of memories with that one as well. Sade, I love Sade. This is my chill music. This is my relaxing music. I can listen to Sade all the time. A lot of people have a hard time pronouncing the name, and just so you know, that's the name of the band, and it's also the name of the lead singer, but it's a whole band. If you're not into Sade, Sade has a lot of great vinyl, and surprisingly enough, a lot of the vinyl, some of it's out of print. It's a little harder to get some of these, but you can still find them on eBay and Discogs. But I haven't seen too many reissues of Sade's stuff. Next, and this album was Promise, probably one of her famous albums right here, and great album if you're into Sade. I'll tell you some of the tracks on this one. Pull this one out here. It's Just a Crime, The Sweetest Taboo. That's a super popular song. Jezebel, Mr. Wrong, Never as Good as the First Time, Fear, Tar Baby, Marine. So this is a great song. A great album. A lot of great songs on here. All right, next one. Okay, Steve Kilbey. All right, again, I love The Church. This album right here is his latest solo album, Sidney Rococo, and this is so good. I own 2 copies of this on CD. I went to go see Steve. He did a little private show. Literally, there's like 12 of us there in a recording studio. I bought a couple of his CDs. He was signing autographs, and I had to get it on vinyl. Love this one, love. And the artwork on this is amazing. Now Steve is an artist. He does a lot of his own artwork, and the front cover painting was done by someone named Gail Portucala. I can't say her last name, but this one I had to get it for the front cover. There's a great song on here, Sidney Rococo, really good. If you're into streaming, you can go find this album. This album again is called Sidney Rococo. That's a great song. One of my favorite songs on here is hold on. Sidney Rococo. Okay, it's an instrumental song, and it's great. So Steve does these kind of quirky things with his albums. If you like the church, if you start to get into Steve Kilbey's solo stuff, you're going to love this. And you can see in my stash here, I have 2 Steve Kilbey solo records, vinyl. So tell me, what are some of the new records that you've picked up, or some of the new music that you've added to your collection recently? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to find out some of the new bands you're listening to, some of the old bands you're listening to. Like I said, some of the old bands that we grew up with in the 80s, the 70s, and 80s, they still come out with new music, just like the House of Love, like that we're playing over here. So it's a lot of fun to listen to the old stuff, the new stuff. Tell me some of the bands you're listening to right now. Give me some suggestions. We'll order some of that into the house here, and then we'll do a review on it. So thanks for joining Couch Rewind over here at Disc Rewind. This is Joel Peterson. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like and do that little bell notification so you can get all of our latest videos. Again, Joel Peterson here. Thanks for joining me here on Disc Rewind. It's not just about music, it's about the whole experience. We'll see you in another video.